what stood us in very good stead was Jean had said to me, we've got this Microsoft Teams program that we've signed up for as part of our Office package. Do you want to see if your sales guys can make use of it? So on the 1st of February at the sales meeting, we actually started a program of, right, here's the Teams program. We're going to install it on everybody's laptops. I want you to play with it for a month. And thank God we did. The internal workings of Nexo has changed beyond recognition in the last 12 months. It might sound strange to some people that we now have a monthly sales meeting. Nexo never had a monthly sales meeting. We had a sales meeting once a year. We have separate meetings for the German market, the French market, the UK market, to discuss the specifics of what we need to do to improve those markets. So we've looked very much at our customer service offering, our pricing offering, product developments. Our education side of things has grown exponentially. We're now CTS certified on our education programs, which we never were before. And if it hadn't have been for lockdown, we probably wouldn't be now. There was one part of the equation we could never overcome, which is how do you demonstrate a speaker virtually? So if you launch it online, nobody can hear it. Traditionally in a show, you'd have a little booth or a separate area where you'd set up a demonstration. Everybody comes in and goes, ooh, ah, picks up their data sheet and leaves. Fortuitously, about 3 years before, one of our UK dealers, a guy called Sash that owns a company called Sound of Music, has a separate business called Connect My Event, which was an online event portal. And we'd briefly talked to him about doing an online platform 3-4 years ago and never did anything with it. So when the pandemic came and I'm faced with a product launch, I thought, I'm going to go and have a conversation with Sash. And between us, we worked out a way of broadcasting a Nexo product launch. Actually, the really interesting thing was the numbers. So if you look at a trade show launch, you might have 50 people in front of the speaker. But if you look at the ID84 launch, we had 300 people watched the entire thing at the moment we launched it. Post that launch, that video has been watched over 1,000 times a day in varying parts of the world. Installation is incredibly important for Nexo. If you actually look at the international sales stats on where speakers go, the tour sound market is a minute part of the world audio market in the great scheme of things. The turnover is in the installation market. And Nexo's never going to go full commercial audio. We're not going to sell €7 ceiling speakers. That's not our marketplace. But we can certainly bring a lot of R&D expertise and a lot of technology into the install market. That's not only ID, but Geo, for instance. You know, Geo M6, Geo M10, Geo M12. It's regularly used in the installation environment. Again, a lot of people don't realise that what we do in sports stadia. You know, the install business is important, and you will see more product from Nexo, I have no doubt, that looks more like an install product and less like a rock and roll product. But it never ceases to amaze me where people manage to deploy Nexo speakers. Having face-to-face contact, even if it is digitally, is absolutely critical. I've said to everybody, if COVID-19 had happened 12 months earlier, with what was available in technology terms for face-to-face communication from remote locations, our industry would have just finished. The international flavour of our industry and that working together and liaising internationally could never have survived without the video platforms that exist today. Whether that's, we've talked a lot about Teams, but obviously Zoom, we've all been on Zoom during the last 15 months and done lots of Zoom training, lots of Zoom courses. You know, so Francois and his team have run our training program very successfully. And yes, we want to get back to face-to-face training. And that's in our business model for this year. It's critical that you give both sides the opportunity. I mean, India's a prime example at the moment. The only way we can deliver that, and the only way we will be able to deliver that for the foreseeable future, is virtually. But in France, to take that as an example, where we've been able to do face-to-face, France actually came in over budget on the COVID year, which is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Jean-Jacques and Stéphane did a tremendous job during the COVID year, but the reason they were able to do that was because we deployed our whole package on a face-to-face basis in France. Going forward, we'll use the digital platform far more than travelling. Denis, when he did this job, was travelling all the time. That was the name of the game. That was how it was done. But now I've got actually no intention of doing that on a regular basis. I'll go out for the trade shows and I'll meet the distributors at the trade shows. But day-to-day business can now be done digitally. The guys can arrange digital meetings with any distributor at any time with me face-to-face. And yes, you lose that. Let's go out and have lunch, let's go out and have dinner, let's go and have a beer in the bar. You lose that connection. But hopefully we can make those connections up going forward. But they don't need to be every time. When you're visiting people, there's a cost, both physically and environmentally. It's a time issue. So we have to take all of those things, I think, going forward into consideration, because we are in a new marketplace now. No question, the one thing COVID has done is change the landscape.